So today I'm testing out the new OM3, and it's very much shots fired at Fuji to try and get that sort of like street photographer, travel photographer market in tow. Of course, this is a Monochrome 4/3 sensor, as what you're really expecting. It does have a 20 megapixel sensor, which actually creates really amazing images. Not only that, you actually have a dial on the front, very similar to a lot of the new Fuji cameras, that allow you to actually like change out the color tone and go towards the more filter area of photos. Something that I've actually really appreciated so far, at least whilst I've been shooting it today, is that it's absolutely stunning in its makeup. It feels very much like what you'd expect out of an OM10 back in the day, as it's going for that sort of like filmic kind of look, and you can really appreciate it for its design. Of course, you've got a metal construction here, so both the bottom plate and the top plate are metal. The other thing about this camera as well is that it is fully weather sealed, making it pretty much usable in any given situation that you really want to do it in. You can go out in the wilds, get a load of mud on it, get it absolutely soaked with the rain, and it should still stand up. Of course, we've actually picked to come out to Bristol on a relatively nice day, so it's actually absolutely stunning weather. But overall, right now, my initial impressions of the camera are very strong. You're looking to spend around about £1,699 on the actual OM3 itself. And, well, that's just really the beginning here. But let's continue taking photos and see what we can get. Again, really impressed with this camera so far. And, it's managed to achieve everything that I really want it to. Despite it only being 20 megapixels, I was actually really happy with the amount of clarity and the detail on the images, and most of them actually ended up being put in the video because I liked them, and, really happy with the images that came out of here. Let's talk a little bit more about the control interface of the OM3. What I like about it is that it is very clicky. It's very kind of like, it feels right in your hand when you're changing the shutter speed, the aperture, and opposed to other ones that I've reviewed in the past, this one's probably got to be one of the easiest ones to use. Now, something that I find quite frustrating with brands these days is that they put AI on everything, and it's just like AI this, AI that, and it's like, okay, we get it, it's smart, but you really need to put AI on yet another device. With this and the OM3, you've got computational photography, which gives you a whole list of things that you can really do. And I'm going to show some of the photos that I've taken whilst I talk about it. So you've got live gradual ND, which basically creates a live ND filter on the images, which, for example, I took a shot of an arcade earlier, and usually, and I've taken shots of many arcades at the time, the photos end up being way too bright on the top and way, okay exposed on the bottom. With this live graduated ND, you don't need to carry an ND filter to get the best photo in this situation. You can just set it on the camera, and it allows you to do that, which is pretty damn excellent. Not only that, and one of the modes I've been trying out quite a bit today is the live ND, and this applies basically an ND, or basically does the computations to allow the photo to become a lot darker, which means if you want to do lower shutter speeds, you really can do it on this camera. And then of course you got everything else, for example doing the macro stuff, and then high megapixels and all of that, which makes it a very kind of like good camera for people who just enjoy photography, want to go out taking photos, and don't really want to complicate their life too much. Now, with us talking about slow shutter speeds here, I think we can't move on without talking about actually taking photos without a tripod, because I've not brought a tripod with me today, and it's one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I didn't do. So with this, and with certain lenses, you get up to 8.5 stops of image stabilization, which is absolutely excellent, especially if you are looking to do handheld slow shutter shots. There are some shots today where I've actually shot over the course of 3 seconds, and what's really unique about this as well is that it actually creates a live review of the image that you're going to get inside of the camera. Now, this image isn't perfect, but it gives you an understanding of what you're trying to achieve, and for that I can recommend it. I just took a photo of a bus stop a minute ago and took many photos in order to get the composition that I really wanted, and it came out really well, and it doesn't even look like I need to edit it that much. And for the first time in a long time, and actually really surprised by that, because usually I enjoy doing the editing, right? And then talking a little bit more about the image stabilization here, we move over to the video side of stuff. We've got an incredibly capable camera here when it comes to the 8.5 stops of image stabilization. You can create really nice little travel films with this really quite easily, with just some nice little movements here and there. Maybe you want to stand still, maybe you want to do a little bit of movements, but it's almost gimbal-like control there. And in that retrospect, I'm actually really impressed. And I've always really been impressed with the image stabilization out of Olympus, opposed to pretty much the rest of the market in general. You've got 10-bit and you've got H.265 inside of this camera, which means you're going to have better color control. But also, when you've actually set it to OM log, you can actually put a LUT over the top of it inside of the camera. It allows like a display LUT, essentially, to convert it from Rec 709 to really gauge your exposure correctly.
It does also shoot in 4K 60, which the majority of the footage from this video, other than myself, was actually filmed on.
It's very much shots fired at Fuji for their collection. It simplifies a lot of what they're trying to do. It makes it look a little bit smarter in some retrospects. Because I do like the Fuji lineup, don't get me wrong. But I quite like the color control kind of like dial on the front of this. It feels smart. It doesn't feel kind of like, hey, I just want to put some filters on there and make them like grammable. So yeah, overall, really impressed with it. And I know I've said this already in the video, but yeah, really, really good. I can't complain. Gonna take some more photos and then head back to Cardiff. The OM3, what do I actually think about it at the end of the day? Now, you do have some caveats to this camera, of course, as with most cameras. You only have one SD card slot. It is a Micro Four Thirds sensor, but with Micro Four Thirds sensors, you do get twice the length of what your lens actually is. So if you are doing street photography or wildlife where you need that little extra range, these cameras are actually some of the best cameras you can get for your money. The autofocus seemed to be pretty on point today. Grabbed everything that I needed to. Took more wide shots than I did close up, but for shots when I was taking, trying to capture somebody, it actually managed to do that quite well. And at the end of the day, it's not always as simple as autofocus, everything like that. What I want to really talk about here really is nostalgia, but also the experience of the camera. And let's talk a little bit about nostalgia these days. When it comes to nostalgia these days, camera companies are playing off of it as much as possible. It's everything they can do in order to kind of like, hey, we've got this retro kind of like nice feeling camera, and it works. And the OM3 is very much a tantamount to that. It's a very good camera and it feels right in the hands, with also keeping very kind of like filmic kind of like feel to it. I've had a go with an OM10 and OM30 and all of that, and it feels very similar to that, remarkably so. And that's one thing I would like to point out here is the look, the feel, the ergonomics. It's the best Olympus camera I've ever actually reviewed in that retrospect. And then, of course, you've got to talk about the feeling of the camera. And this is away from the ergonomics and everything like that. And, like, what is it like to actually shoot with? I think it's truly remarkable, to be honest with you. It's something that is honestly fun to shoot with. It's got everything that you would really want out of a camera inside of it. And it also stops you needing to bring extra things like ND filters, variable ND filters, to be able to get some crafty and creative looking shots, something a little bit different to what you're usually getting out of the camera. And what I would say is this: the camera is fantastic. Is it perfect? No camera is at the end of the day. But if you're looking to have a fun experience with a camera and you're not necessarily too sold on Fuji when it comes to their series of cameras, I think this gives you a lot, keeps everything nice and compact, but also rugged, because you've got that weather sealing, which just allows you to have fun without necessarily needing to worry about what weather is going on at the moment. Luckily, it was sunny today, but it's not always sunny. And it's a camera that, yes, maybe on the pricey end, but it's a camera that I think has a lot of heart in it, and I think what I was most impressed by is OM System has taken a step back, and rather than rehash another camera with OM Systems on it and, you know, another, they've actually released something here that is fun in its core makeup, and I think that's really the takeaway here. It's fun, it's powerful, it feels fantastic, it kind of reminds me of a Nikon ZF without necessarily being a Nikon ZF. And of course, because you've got Micro Four Thirds, you've got nice small lenses, and you know, you benefit with so much with it being Micro Four Thirds, with it being like a film camera and its size as well, because it's very similar size to what you would expect out of an OM10, Olympus OM-10 back in the day, and bravo is what I would say. You know, it's another camera that I think Fuji need to worry about. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you think. If you like this video, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe if you want to see more. And the only other thing is make sure you go to Camera Center UK or click the doobly-doo down below in order to purchase the camera if you are interested in it. Anyway, have a good day.